Okay, so welcome everybody to TLN Mastermind for April. I'm not going to make you look at the slides again just because I forgot to push the record button. I do want everybody to know that we're recording and we would love to keep you on video. If you don't want to be on video, certainly you can go on video mute since we're recording, but we would prefer that you didn't. So let's go around the room real quick. I'd love for you to say your name, the name of your business, who invited you to the meeting today. Share more contact information if you have it inside the chat window. This way, if we get through our introductions quickly, we'll have a lot more group collaboration discussion. So Austin, you're in my top left square. Would you start us off?
So awesome, Austin. No, just kidding. Austin Sinet here. I'm a business coach with Focal Point Coaching organization as well. I'll be leading the breakout sessions or the mastermind session, and here in Houston, Texas, and I'm so happy for those of us you carved out a little bit of time to be with us this afternoon. Looking forward to our discussion.
Perfect. Thank you, Austin. I failed to introduce myself. My name is Trisha Stetzel. I too am a focal point coach in the, let's call it, way South Houston area. My husband and I have a coaching practice together, and I am very glad that all of you came to visit with us today. Dave Eisen.
Hello, Dave Eisen here. I am also a certified focal point business coach. I'm a few miles north of Austin, Texas, in the state of Iowa. So a short 14-hour drive away, but at some point this summer, I will be in Austin, which is why that slideshow shows my location as Austin. But glad to be here. Have you found these monthly meetings very useful for my own personal goal setting as well, and as far as my business coaching practice too. So thanks.
Good. Thank you, Dave. All right. Brian Judy, welcome to the meeting today. Just introduce yourself quickly. Thank you.
Sure. My name is Brian Judy. I was invited by Dave Eisen, my good friend and a mentor from my days in the Navy. I am part of the wave of refugees that are fleeing California for Texas. So I landed in Texas in December. I'm just outside of San Antonio. Been looking for a job, not really sure what I want to do when I grow up, but I did just accept an offer for a local contractor, and I start on Monday. So.
Fantastic, Brian. Congratulations.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. And I too am a squid. All right, Melissa Brown, welcome. Tell us your name, the name of your business, and who invited you today.
Hi, yes, I was invited by Austin, awesome Austin, and I am new to leadership. I'm going to be joining my husband in a business. He's in commercial lending, and so I'm pivoting from being a private practice speech pathologist. So I've been a business owner, but now I'm going to pivot into medical lending areas since I work with a lot of practices and I've seen some challenges that they've had. So I'm hoping to be able to provide some solutions for them.
Welcome. Fantastic, Melissa. All right, Troy Weber, you're next on my screen.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Troy Weber. I'm a focal point business coach located just north of Dallas. And so I really am proud to have each and every one of you here. I love learning from each and every one of you. Every month I take a page full of notes. So get ready. It's going to be a great discussion. So welcome, everyone.
Thank you, Troy. Greg Alt, welcome back, my friend.
Thanks, Trisha. And Trisha invited me the first time. It's my second time back. I'm Greg Alt with Paramount Services. I'm a fractional CFO and bookkeeping firm based here in Houston, but I work with clients all over the nation and work remotely, and have been doing that for 5 years and enjoy it immensely.
Good. Thank you, Greg. All right, Ellie Hodson, you're next.
Hi, everyone. I was invited by Austin. And what I do is I turn panic into peace. And how I do that is really supporting business owners in facilitating the ability to offer wonderful benefits to their employees, whether they're W-2 or 1099, which is very niche in what I do. So I'm able to work with nonprofits. I'm able to work with groups as small as 2. Like for those groups who thought there's no way we can get insurance for our good people, talk to me. I'll help you. We will find a solution. So that's what I do and supporting my community. So thank you for having me here.
Perfect. Welcome. We're so glad to have you. All right, Neely Miller.
Hi, everyone. My name is Neely Miller, and Trisha invited me today, and I'm so excited to be here. I'm actually partnered with a healthy living company named Organo. I help people upgrade their daily coffee and tea habit to something that actually contributes to their health, and I'm so excited to be with y'all today.
Thank you so much, Neely. Dennis Stetzel, we seem to have the same last name.
We do, coincidentally. So Dennis Stetzel, part of the Texas Leadership Network, powered by Focal Point Coaching and Training. And I am, as Trisha said, the other half of the practice that Trisha and I share. Good to see you all today.
Perfect. Thank you, Dennis. Cortland, are you with us today?
I'm here, guys. Sorry, I'm munching down on lunch, so I'm trying to hurry through that.
No worries. Hey, we're all multitasking here, Cortland.
I'm CEO of Sudical Labs. We're our CRO, CDMO in Dallas. We basically help folks take their idea from concept to the marketplace in the FDA regulated environment.
Wonderful. Cortland, welcome back. I think you've been with us 3 or 4 times.
Yes, ma'am. This will be third.
Fantastic. We're so glad you're
Thank
back
you.
with us. All right. So Dr. Princess Mokolo joined us as we were doing our introductions. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. My name is Princess Mokolo. I'm a business coach, instructional designer, and a serial entrepreneur. I'm really happy to be in your midst this morning.
Fantastic. Who invited you today?
I believe it was Austin.
Okay, I can imagine that, Austin. Fantastic. Well, welcome to everyone. We're so glad that you're all here. Austin, I'm going to let you take the screen away and give us a topic, and then we'll get started on collaborating.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Okay, see my screen okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So once again, welcome and so appreciative for you to carve out a little time and be with us this afternoon. So I'll be the sort of the theme leader for today. But before we get started, just want to be really, really clear. This meeting is about you and helping you guys get your needs met around the discussion topic. I am an unbelievable supporter of mastermind and peer-to-peer networking groups. I've led a group for about 2 years here in the greater Houston area. These folks all had participated in a local business accelerator program. We've been together 2 years, and every one of us, out of seven constant members, but every one of them has, through the experience, has been able to expand their real estate footprint, either through expanding their existing space and or acquiring new space. And I wish I could take the credit for it, but I absolutely cannot, because the catalyst of all of this was their fellow peers were encouraging to take the next step. And as importantly, holding them accountable to the key things that they said they needed to accomplish to move to that next level of exceptional performance. So it's just been, for me, an unbelievable experience. I mean, I think for me, it's just been life-changing how important or how effective mastermind groups have been. So our topic for today, let me get into that. We're going to talk about one of my favorite topics. If we could get the slide advanced, we're going to talk about growth. So where are we in the cycle? So if we look at, if we plan and we measure our business on a quarterly basis or a calendar year basis, guess what? We just ended quarter 1. And as we go into quarter 2, right? We in a perfect world, we should have stopped and reassessed. How did quarter 1 look like? Did we achieve our goals? Did we have goals? Did we have the right goals? So, and then as we move into quarter 2, what are some things that we should be focusing on from a business perspective, right? To make sure that the next 3 quarters are as good or better than what we had achieved in the first quarter. So I've got a very specific approach that we want to do when we go into sort of our sharing session. So in any business, and this is a review for my focal point brethren, but in any business, there's these pillars that our business stands upon. I like to refer to them as pillars of growth. Think sales, think marketing, operations, your customer care, your customer service approach, your human capital efforts, your team. There's finance, then there's administration systems. So here's what I'd like us to do as we move into the discussion phase of our session here today. What I'd like you to do is say, okay, think about what's happened in Q1. Then as we move forward into the last 3 quarters of growth for our respective enterprises, what is one pillar of growth that you might want to focus on? What's the greatest opportunity associated with that? And as importantly, what do you see as the biggest impediment to growth or achieving that, whether, or growth or a roadblock? Now, I'm going to take something off the table right now. So I don't want, nobody can say I need more customers, because customers are a result, right? There's no customer tree we can go out and shake and then customers come falling out of it, okay? How do customers appear? It's a function of our ability to generate leads and our ability to convert those leads into customers, right? So nothing that's a result. We want to try to pull a layer back and look at some core process, core activity as it relates to that pillar of growth, and talk about where's my opportunity and what's the impediment. And so, Trish, are we going to stay in as a group, or are we going to break into smaller groups? And so while Trish comes back, I'll take the first one. So one of the things that my biggest opportunity for the balance of the year, it's going to be conversion, right? So in the first part of the quarter, I've been involved in a couple of really large activities that's generated some attention to my Focal Point brand as well as my personal brand. And so now my efforts are going to be focused on taking those leads and converting them into clients. And my challenge there is going to be really understanding what the needs are for this demographic or this market segment that I'm going after, and being able to create some programming that makes sense for them so that they want to continue to do some sort of business with me. So that's my challenge. So that's kind of what we're looking for. And then, of course, since it's such an enthusiastic crowd, you're going to ask me some questions. Awesome. What does that mean?
And I think, Austin, based on the number of coaches that we have to participants / new participants, we can just stay here. I think it'll be a really good group discussion with a dozen people. Yeah. And I'll kick it off while people contemplate what they want to say, because we'd like to hear from everyone. Marketing for me has been a huge pillar of growth over the last couple of years. I decided to be part of a referral networking group, and that's where I spend a lot of my time, if you will. I don't know if that's me or if somebody's got weird noise going on. Anyway, so for me, it's been my focus on marketing that has really helped me grow my business. And especially in 2020, when we didn't have as many people in one-to-one contact, right? It was shifting to an online platform, but still having those relationships in my BNI chapter. So that's mine. Austin.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. So let's hear maybe from one of our non-coaches. Open up the floor a little bit here. I know some of our coaches have some great stories to share as well. Now, Ellie, I see you smiling. I think there's something there you want to share.
Yeah, I wanted to go to customer care and talk about how such a huge pillar that is in my business. Life happens, and so those needs that they have are change along with that. And so even going back and making sure that people in my book of business are being taken care of, that I am checking up with them. It's not just a one and done. No, my relationship with them is ongoing, and I want them to know that. And so recently I was able to it benefited me, have some sales because of that, because I paid attention to what their needs were in taking care of them. They trusted me to have those conversations. And so I know that's been an area of success for me, and an area for growth going into Q2 is the marketing, making sure that I, as much as I want to tell people about, oh, look, this is how I can help you, I need to be in front of them to tell them that. And so I need to see where they are, and with things being semi-quasi closed, I need to be more more of a risk taker and like, okay, maybe this is how I can connect with them, and really trying to not just go with what the traditional route has, but find new ways of doing that.
And then maybe one, when you say risk taker, I like that. So first of all, what I know about Ellie, she's newer or has returned to the industry. So having some early success, is that fair, Ellie? You've had some early success in terms of attracting clients. I mean, that's very, very impressive. So when you talk about risk taking going forward, what's maybe one or two things that would sort of challenge your comfort zone, for lack of a better term?
I think part of it is investing in myself. I'm so focused on, okay, what can I do for them? How can I help them and support them? And well, I need to make sure that I'm also investing in myself so that I don't have to be at my best, but that I am like ready to then help them. Kind of the whole idea. And I've been hearing this through webinars and trainings and all that, making sure that I grab oxygen mask for myself so that then I can help the next person with their oxygen. And
Absolutely.
so going to BNI, going to other places, I'm like, yeah, I need to do that too.
Great, good deal. Okay, thanks, I appreciate that. Who else would like to share?
I think I'm one of the other newbies in the group.
Yes.
My biggest challenge is going to be, I have a large network. I have been in the health industry for over 25 years. It's going to be marketing and rebranding myself, trying to make that pivot from being a practitioner into then now becoming more of a consultant to other practitioners. And, it's just, that's my biggest hurdle is I'm a helper. I've been in the helping industry. I need to take that frame of mind and put it into this new sales world that I'm going to be in. But, I did learn from my participation in the Mattress Mac, business school, that it's about helping people. And I'm still in the helping field. It's just a little different. It's going to look different. I need to just become comfortable with that. So that's where I'm going to be focusing on, is just really how I'm going to market myself, how I'm going to reach out to my network and let them know that, this is what I'm doing now and how can I help them.
Okay. So I'm going to put my coaching hat on for a moment here. First of all, thanks for being here. So let's talk about maybe one thing. I mean, you're very fortunate because you're starting this business or redirecting your business, and you've got this existing list of people who know, like, and trust you and that sort of thing. So what is one thing you can do, in the next couple of days to sort of get the ball rolling or tip that first domino in regards to creating some connection with these folks?
Yeah, my first thought was going through my LinkedIn network and focusing on the people that I have connections with and reaching out to them and letting them know. I am fortunate that I do have a platform through my husband's business. I've been alongside him for 5 years, and now I'm familiar with, some of his network. But he's also, going to be introducing me to his banking world, networks of bankers and other brokers and whatnot. But for me personally, I'm going to focus on my LinkedIn network. I'm hoping that's a good place to start.
That's great. Love to hear that. And that's kind of what we're looking for, is specificity in sort of what the next step or two might be. So I appreciate you sharing. Good deal. Thank you.
Sure.
Good deal. All right. Who's our next brave soul?
I'm going to share just because I'm probably want to just take in information and learn, but I'm going to share because I know that it's going to put me in my outside of my comfort zone. So that's probably been my biggest thing this year is I've worked really hard to kind of develop my skills for my business. And I know that when I'm comfortable, I'm not growing. And so this year I've been trying to figure out, okay, where do I need to be putting myself where I'm really uncomfortable? And I've got some blocks in that department, like with videos and just different things that I know I can do and I don't. So yeah, I'm just putting that out there.
Okay, good. No, so I'm going to ask you the same. First of all, thanks for sharing. And so this environment is safe. Would you agree? Yeah, I think you felt pretty comfortable sharing that. So let's talk about you. What's one thing that you do before the end of the week to help you continue to move beyond your comfort zone?
So anytime I speak about the things that I want to do, and if I put it out loud, I tend to do it because I'm like, okay, I said it, so now I have to do it. So that's why I was like, okay, I got to speak about this and just say what I think I want to do versus just being quiet. Because I know that if I don't say anything and I just think it, it can be stuck in here and not necessarily like put down. So just by saying what I just said, I'm pretty sure I'll do a video like tomorrow or today.
So Neely, I mean, Trish has a method to the madness. This is why we record these. So in the event that we can get on next month and you start to backslide, we can gently remind you of what you can do. Fair?
Yep. No, I will definitely be doing videos.
Good deal. Thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, so good. A lot of focus on marketing, marketing specifically here. So love to hear that. I'm among kindred spirits. So great. So who'd like to go next or share next?
I've got something. So one of the things that I think that helped with my growth so much last year was that with existing clients, I was out front with them about as they started to go into shutdown, and how are they going to handle that shutdown, and how are they going to help them get those decisions to have that pivot as quickly as possible to working from home. But I also have several clients that are retail space, that were considered essential businesses. They couldn't close, but what was the dentist going to do in that? And because I was so out in front of that last year and have kept in front of that with my clients and talked to them, and we made where they had to lay off, they laid off, because they had to be able to survive until this now that they're able to start getting back to normal. But I'm struggling with continuing that growth. This still grew, but in a different way. And like Trisha had mentioned, the marketing was helpful with BNI and all that, but just trying to be able to pivot more on that and getting more exposure.
So Greg, I heard something there that I think was very, very powerful, and love to get your feedback on this. So you took last year, the year of hopefully the worst of the pandemic is behind us, but you took that as an opportunity to do some outreach with your existing client base and just make sure that they were okay. There may or may not have been any sort of fees or revenues associated with that, but you were there just to be a resource, an ear or shoulder. Did I hear you correctly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it was, it was to say, hey, you got to cut expenses for, if you're not having revenue come in, how are you going to, handle what you're doing? And, and some of the things that I put in place with some of my smaller clients that have salons and stuff, they're employees of their business, and they were able to lay themselves off and collect unemployment until they were able to open back up. But we had to implement that pretty quickly and make those choices and decisions. And I just kind of helped them through that to make sure that they did what they could to keep their employees and how to shift and cut expenses at the same time.
Right. Great story. Thanks for sharing. But in my mind, what I've seen is a shift from, because you're the bookkeeper, accounting, interim CFO, correct?
Yeah. So I do the books, but I also do consulting. I switch between the two roles.
So what I see here is that what you took on in the past 12, 14 months, you've become more of a trusted advisor to them as opposed to their bookkeeping guy or their accountant guy, right? So so if you were to continue along that path, of being, kind of the value add interim CFO, value add bookkeeper, accountant, that sort of thing. What might that look like? Where are some opportunities where you can add some additional value to your client group and then move? So one, it solidifies your role as their bookkeeper, but it also moves you, it helps them create some other possibilities or opportunities, either inside your existing client base or in terms of a referral situation.
I think it's going to be more in the referrals situation and just trying to get that more exposure. And I end up looking at doing a little bit of rebranding to not kind of have, the bookkeeping and be more of a fractional CFO consulting.
You have a lot of great, sounds like you have a lot of great stories to share about how you help people kind of, my catchphrase, beyond bookkeeping, right? Beyond the CPA, beyond the accountant. Okay, good. Well, thanks for sharing. That was a great story. Okay. Trisha, do you need to volunteer somebody, or do we put it back to the group? Who'd like to go next?
I'll go next.
Sure.
I guess I'll be the first coach to go. I'm relatively new to the coaching field, so I've had fairly aggressive goals when I first started out this year. And we've talked about SMART goals that are part of SMART. I learned the hard way. It's got to be realistic. I think I might have set some unrealistic goals for myself, but I'm always a person that learns from my lessons. And going towards what I think Neely and Ellie were talking about, putting yourself out there. I need to get back in the mode for myself. I pulled up the quote. It was from John Wesley, where he says, light yourself on fire with passion and people will come from miles to watch you burn. I used that when I started a previous small business of mine. And as soon as I took on that attitude, my business like exponentially grew. So I need to put myself in that mindset again, to really put myself out there. And I was joking at the beginning of the call, being on TikTok and Snapchat. I wasn't joking. That's my comfort zone, and I'm trying to bust out too. So but don't confuse that fire quote with the other fire quote. If you give a man some fire, he'll stay warm for a minute. If you put him on fire, he'll stay warm for the rest of his life.
So Dave, I'm going to go in here. If you need anybody to help put fuel on the fire, I think we've got some people here that'll help.
Yeah, I got a dozen of my closest friends to keep me accountable on it. So thanks.
Excellent.
Well, and Dave, you make a great point. We've all heard the adage, if you keep doing what you've always done, you guys can finish that, right? And if we don't try something new, we're not challenging ourselves and we find ourselves complacent.
Exactly. Yep.
And I would throw this out there at you. We've talked about this here before, but who's in your room? Who's encouraging you? Who is your accountability partner? Because if they're not bigger, better, faster, stronger than you, that group of people that you spend most of your time with, maybe you're in the wrong room.
Exactly. I read that book too. So I finished it in like 2 hours. It's a real good book.
It is. Absolutely. Who's in your room? All right.
Is that the title of the book?
It is. Who's in your room? It was written by Dr. Ivan Meisner. He co-authored.
My turn.
Ellie, we're going to get you in BNI, whether you like it or not. It's going to happen.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Visiting is not enough.
Go ahead, Cortland. Let's hear from you today.
Sure. The biggest challenge that I have right now is probably human capital. I've got more work in here now than I've ever had before. We're turning away 100% of the requests that are coming in by phone. I just, because of COVID, 30% of my team left. And I think it's because of the fact that they were millennials. Sorry about that. But that's my opinion and I'm sticking to it. But right now, the biggest issue that I have is trying to find personnel that are willing to come in and do what we need them to do. I'm very appreciative of the folks that are moving in from out of state into Texas because of the fact that I get a chance to attract them and get them employed almost immediately. The folks here in Texas, unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of pharma business in Texas, so therefore it makes it extremely difficult to find folks in Texas. And then the other issue that I have is that the universities no longer teach basic science when people come out with degrees. So in other words, if you have a PhD in chemistry, I cannot employ you right now because of the fact that you don't understand the nomenclature that we use in our industry. So, I mean, it's like deer in the headlights, and I don't have 6 months to train you what you should have learned in the previous 8 years doing your PhD. So that's the challenges that I have right now, is centered around human capital, because as I said, I've got more business than I can handle. My website is now 20 years old, and I'm trying my best to keep it at go all the way up to 25 years old before we change it. But I know that that's got to change as well. The issue that I got to be on the bottom of the totem pole on Google or anything else is the fact that I'm a DEA facility, Schedule 1. So therefore, I've got to be at the bottom of the totem pole when everybody's going out seeking our services. But unfortunately, because there's so many of us here in Texas, I'm usually the only one that shows up.
So what does an ideal hire look like for you?
An ideal hire is somebody that's been in the industry for at least 5 to 7 years, and has strong knowledge of the industry. The issue that I have with big pharma is the fact that people are put into a very tight box, and because of the fact that we are a smaller firm, I've got to have somebody that can come in and break out of that box and break into they come in on a 4x4x4 box, and I got to get them into a refrigerator box immediately.
And then they've got a background in biology, chemistry. What's the
It's biology and chemistry. Microbiology and chemistry are our focal points. And you know, right now in my industry, in what we do as a CRO, CDMO, we're having explosive growth thanks to the COVID situation. My competitors in New Jersey right now are up 3,500%. My competitors in California are up 2,500%. And I could easily surpass them if I had people. But, you know, it's frustrating right now that I'm having people call me and curse me out because of the fact that I can't handle the work.
And so what's been I'm sure you're working with external recruiters and that sort of thing. What's been the result of that?
The biggest issue that I have with external recruiters is the lack of new talent, and the fact that these external recruiters are not providing new talent. It's talent that we've already seen. I've got a posting on LinkedIn, and I get 300, 400 applicants. Because I'm a DEA Schedule 1, I've got to have U.S. Citizenship as the primary issue. And most of these folks that are coming in are going through academia, but they are not U.S. citizens. And I'm not I've already sponsored 2 H-1Bs, and I'm not in, or HB1s, and I'm not interested in sponsoring others. My 2 basically burned the bridges for any H-1Bs.
Gotcha. Tough situation currently. So got to ask the question, you kind of figured out what's not working or doesn't work really well. Is there something out there, or maybe somebody else on the call can maybe offer up an idea, a potential solution that maybe you haven't thought of yet?
I used to work, sorry about that. Cortland, do you ever reach out to universities and participate in their fairs for recruitment?
Yes, ma'am. I'm on the board at Texas A&M, Baylor, by the way, Sikkim Bears,
Yes.
UNT,
Nice job.
UTSA, University of Houston, University of Rice, Texas Tech, University of Oklahoma, and University of Arkansas. I'm on their boards. I'm in their chemistry groups on a routine basis, and the response from the professors is the fact that the students lack the capability to comprehend two different nomenclatures these days. And their goal right now is to maintain the students in academia, not to release them to industry.
Is there an opportunity to
So-
provide a separate set of coursework for folks that are interested, that are chemists or biologists that are looking to get into that industry, and that way they can take an elective or something?
The universities are not willing to provide that because of the fact that they want to keep them in academia because of the research dollars coming in from the government now. And they're applying for the grants, and that's how these universities are now operating, is through the grants. And the more students that they have available for grants, the higher the grant award.
Wow, that's a very interesting situation you're in.
I mean, that's part, if you go to College Station or UT, and even Waco, I mean, you're seeing the universities growing by building more buildings. And, it's kind of like at College Station, they're building, 5, 6 buildings at a time in order to maintain academia.
And something, there's a similar, at the risk of extending this probably beyond its shelf life, Austin, and I apologize, but it's been hitting me. In the education industry, you have a similar quandary, right? Those who are passionate about teaching and training and educating people and making people's lives better through education, they gravitate toward the universities, they gravitate toward those institutions that traditionally provide that type of training. But especially after, now that the pandemic has happened and everything is from home and remote, some of these institutions like a Pearson Learning or like an ETS or a Wiley, right, and an Amazon and a Google, etc., those educators, those content providers, those people who are passionate and have been passionate and their venue was through the universities, the way that like the Pearsons of the world are starting to engage those really passionate people with the amazing content is providing them a platform where they can impact people's lives more efficiently. They can impact more people through like an alternative education source. And so maybe that's something to expand upon. I mean, maybe the traditional route and that traditional path where the universities are grabbing these people up, if your why and your ultimate impact, if you can convince some of these, super passionate, really wonderful people who can contribute to your cause, if they see that your impact is far greater than they could ever make through a traditional university, that might get the draw and bring people in that you're really looking for. It's not the 300 resumes that you get that you have to sort through. It's those 1 or 2 that are gonna align with your passion, align with your mission, and just like the education industry, they're gonna change people's lives or change whatever it is that they can change through you, as opposed to through a traditional university. And it's a bigger, broader topic probably. And again, I apologize, Austin, because I probably extended this, but I had to let that out.
I could feel the energy. It's good. It's a great insight.
And I think one of the cool things, Austin, is as we've had this discussion today, we've touched on almost every point you have on the slide. Now, I don't know if that's because we're staring at the slide and we're associating stories to it, but I think it's really cool that everyone on the call today is coming from a different place. So just in the sake of time, I think one person that we haven't heard from is Dr. Princess Moloko. So if you, or Makolo, I'm sorry, if you would like to tell us kind of where you're at as far as growth goes in your business before we ask everybody what they're taking away from the meeting today.
Right, thank you so much. One of my businesses is a training organization, and we provide technology applications, training, vocational training, entrepreneurship boot camps, and all of that. Up until last year, we did in-person training. So a great opportunity came with the lockdown and all that for online training. And our biggest challenge was the turnaround time to redesign content for online learning, train facilitators, and basically identify the best platform to launch to launch and to leverage opportunity for online training. And I'm happy to say we've gradually integrated it now. We're not quite where we need to be, but it's all coming together. So opportunity was online learning, where we've done face-to-face for 17 years, and challenge was just retraining, jumping on board. Thank you all.
So Princess, question for you. So obviously, as you migrate to an online platform, you'll be able to continue to service your existing clients. So what is that online transition? What does that mean in terms of attracting either new clients or different types of business?
Well, what it means is actually an expansion of our offering, because over the last 17 years, we've had a lot of potential participants ask us, do you have a location near us, and all of that. So potentially it's expanding our pool of participants to a global audience. We actually have, we've implemented Zoom trainings and webinars and all of that. And we have a global participant pool right now. So it's been an opportunity for growth. Yes.
Thank you. All right, Trish, back to you. Thanks.
Okay, Austin, do you have any homework for our participants? Some some little noodles to take home with them tonight?
I appreciate that offer. So I think we've done a really great job of sort of articulating where our growth opportunities are in the months, quarters to come. So what I'd like for each of us to do is just, obviously you don't have to turn it in, but let's just take that idea, concept, and let's flesh it out. What does it mean for your business? Because as we say in our business, first thing, once you've identified what it is you'd like to achieve or want to achieve, and then write it down, and then think about and then set a date as to when you want to achieve that particular goal, that outcome, and then write down all the things that you need to do to make it happen, right? And then from there, we get started. And as we close, we always say, you got to eat that frog. Because everything that people shared here today it's easy, but it's really difficult to make happen, right? And so because it's difficult, can be challenging, we may set it aside. But the whole concept is, if you had to eat a frog every day, are you better served, and that frog is sitting on your desk, are you better served eating it first thing in the morning, or looking at it all day and consuming it at the end of the day? So I love the imagery, and hopefully I didn't spoil anybody's lunch, but I love the imagery of eating that frog. But it's sort of the core of what we do as accomplished professionals. We take on the difficult challenges before we take on the easier challenges. So that's all I have. Thanks for being a great group and sharing. Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, awesome Austin, for being our group leader today. What a great discussion about growth. And as you see, everyone's coming from a different place. They've either struggled or they've grown in different pillars as Austin presented them to us. And even Princess talking about the technology space, right? That was an area that many people grew in 2020 because we weren't able to be in person. So I think that's a great conversation to have. If you guys didn't already share your contact information, make sure you do that. I would like to take the last 9 minutes of this meeting and go around the room and ask everyone, what is the one tidbit that you're taking away today, or what is the one action that you're going to take leaving the meeting today? So I'm going to start with Troy.
Absolutely. As I think about all the great discussion and the different angles, it reminds me of know your why and being able to step out of your comfort zone and attack and eat that frog. Thank you, Tricia. Thanks,
I
team.
love it. Thank you, Troy. All right, Ellie, how about you? What are you taking away today?
Well, an awesome book title, that's for sure. Because part of my growth, I'm trying to see, yes, I need to invest in myself and all that, but that concept of, who's in your room, someone that's ahead of you that you're chasing down, you're going to be like them. Like, I know I need that motivation. That's how I'm wired. So if I don't have that person, I go find that person.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Dave Eisen, how about you?
I think Austin said it. Awesome. Austin said it. Writing down your goal daily. I think that's the key that I've been missing for myself. I have goals in my head that just kind of fester there and simmer. No real actions being taken. So I'm going to dedicate 5 minutes at the start of my day to write it down and start figuring out which frog I'm going to eat that day.
There you go.
Frog soup.
Yeah. Fried frog.
Right. Greg, how about you? What are you taking away from today's meeting?
I kind of like what the kind of follow up with what Dave said is actually writing down the goals. I have the goals. They're I have them on a calendar, and it's like, okay, just as a little reminder here and there. But that's as far as I've gone, and I need to really set it down and set some deadlines for what I'm going to do.
That's great. I love that, Greg. Hey, Austin, what are you taking away today?
Couple things. First of all, I'm pleased that our message today resonated with so many people. I mean, as you know, sometimes as coaches, we've got a lot of ideas and concepts, and sometimes they're well received, and sometimes they're not so much. So I'm glad that the message. Then the other thing is that I still have some work to do. Right, I've got some good things that are cooking, but now I, like everybody else, got to put some pencil to paper. What am I going to do? When is it due? And then what's the outcome I'm looking for? So my goal setting process as well. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. We all have room to grow. If we don't, we're in the wrong profession, right? All right, Brian, Judy, I know you're here just kind of observing, but I'd really like to know what you're taking away from the meeting today.
Sure. I think the word for me is probably possibility. I'm kind of a clean slate. I've always had a job. I've never had a business. But I kind of had the opportunity to explore that idea when I got to Texas. Then Dave reached out to me as I was unemployed looking for work after retiring and everything. And just the possibilities are out there. But at the time, the risk factors were a little too great. So I just said I need to find something that's stable. Well, I start Monday on a regular job, so I'll have that stability. And now maybe I can explore some of those possibilities. So I'm kind of excited at the prospect of that.
Amazing. Congratulations.
Okay.
All right, Melissa, how about you? What are you taking away from the meeting today?
Well, what I'm taking away is I just got to get started, right? Baby steps. So my just small goals, daily goals, weekly goals, but just start with in the moment and just moving forward. And I heard something the other day that really resonated with me. I need to spend 80% of my time doing things that will generate movement, leads, connections, and 20% of my time doing the things that really don't matter. But you think, we can be on webinars, we can think we need to learn more, we need to prep more, but everybody starts somewhere, and it's just a matter of getting started. And once you move, you get some momentum, and I'm hoping that that's where I can put myself, by this time next month, I will have had some momentum behind me.
That's great. Well, we're glad that you were with us today. Neely Miller, how about you? What are you taking away from the meeting today?
Holy moly, making me speak last. I have a ton of takeaways. So
You're not last. There's a couple more.
well, eating first thing in the morning, I don't normally do, but I will be tackling the tasks I don't want to do first thing in the morning.
There you
took
go.
that away. My passion, I'm going to lead with my passion. I'm definitely not going to forget it. And scheduling, like putting it on the schedule, will definitely help me to do those videos. And there was something else, but that's okay.
Okay, great. Neely, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Cortland, what are you taking away today? Oh, you're on mute, sir.
Sorry,
Okay,
thank
no
you.
worries.
The first thing I need to do is go back and review second quarter goals and verify that we're on target to reach those goals by the end of the second quarter. The other thing is I plan to reach out to the Texas Education Board and see what I can stir up there. I've already attacked all of the bioscience organizations within the state. So now that it's time to take the attack to that next level, as Dennis mentioned.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us again this
Thank
month.
you.
We appreciate you. Dr. Princess Mokolo, how about you? What are you taking away from the meeting today?
Wow, it struck me when someone said, when you're comfortable, you're not growing. And that's going to be my focus.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. Marcia, you snuck in about halfway through. What are you taking away from the meeting today? All right, well, I'm tossing the ball to you, Dennis. You're the last guy in my Hollywood Squares.
Okay. Well, it's got to be, Neely's, and I'm going to tag along with the good doctor there. It's the doing something that makes you uncomfortable. As a high C, I'm going to wait until it's perfect and it works, and I know it's going to work. And it's only when I make myself uncomfortable and do something that puts me in a vulnerable position that I actually progress. So thank you, Neely, for that reminder. And it's good to be pushed, because I would sit and stay comfortable and not do the things that will help move me forward at a faster pace. So appreciate that. That's what I'm taking away.
That's amazing. Austin, again, thank you. Thank you to everyone for participating today. We learn so much from all of you. If you have or know people that you would like to bring to this meeting, please invite them. I know you're trying to keep it a secret because you don't want to share this with too many people. I know, but it's okay, because if we get too many participants, we're actually going to create multiple mastermind groups. This one will max out at 25. If we go beyond that, then we're going to start another mastermind group on another day. So it's okay to invite your friends. I'm just telling you. So the next one is May 13th. Mark your calendars. It is the second Thursday from 12 to 1. I will send out reminders. Let people know about this group. Let's all learn from each other, and you guys go off and be amazing. Thank you.
Thanks, Tricia. Thanks, everybody. Talk soon. Very good. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Tricia, for inviting me.
Thank you, Austin, for inviting me.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, Princess.
Sure.